There is tremendous pressure on you. Many want you to fail. Many want you to succeed. How do you feel about that?
It is a lot of pressure, and it is tough to take sometimes. I have to say it is not an easy thing, and no doubt if something goes wrong with our first flight, there will be people that use that as ammunition to say that commercial and private enterprise is not the way to go. And there will also be supporters who say, well, we've got to keep trying, and we will. I mean, we're going to keep going, and however long it takes, we'll get it right. So it's important to appreciate things may not work on the first flight, but they will work later, and we'll get there. We're going to build the escape engines into the sidewall of the spacecraft. So the net result is that you'll actually be able to have escape capability all the way to orbit. Traditional escape systems with the tower, you jettison the tower shortly after second stage ignition, so you don't actually have escape capability all the way through orbit insertion. Even the Apollo didn't have that. The Russians don't have it, the Chinese don't have it. So this would be quite new. It would be an escape system that is capable of providing escape all the way through orbit insertion. Also, because you don't have to release the escape tower every time, you don't have that as a necessary thing that has to occur with every flight. So with the Russian system, or with the Chinese system, or with the Apollo, if you fail to eject the escape tower, then it will be a crew fatality. But by building the engines into the spacecraft, there's no ejection required. It'd be like flying a plane where every time you fly the plane, the ejection seat has to work.
Or you die.
Or you die, right. So what we've said is, let's not make that a requirement. The escape system should only be in contingency when you need to do an escape.
Well, I mean, will be incorporated into this? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you can just, the Dragon capsule can just take off.
Right, and it'll tap into the same propellant that would ordinarily use on orbit, so you don't have to carry two sets of propellants as well. Because you either need orbital maneuvering or you need escape. You don't need both.
How can you make this for 90% less? How can you do that?
Well, it is a much, the space shuttle is a much larger system, and I think architecturally, although it may seem appealing to have what looks like an airplane, because we're used to airplanes being reusable in our day-to-day life, there's a lot of extra weight that comes with that. All the wings and control surfaces and landing gear, that's just a lot you've got to carry to orbit and carry back. And all that stuff, all the wings and control surfaces and landing gear, are completely useless on ascent. They're actually dangerous on the initial portion of re-entry. And all it does is that last 5 minutes allows you to land at a runway at a pretty extreme cost of mass. So you end up having to have this very big, this huge launch system for a relatively small payload. We have a rule at SpaceX, which is anyone can talk to anyone, anytime. It doesn't matter if you're an intern in that department, you can talk to the vice president in another department. As a company grows, the productivity per person improves due to specialization of labor, and then at a certain point, it declines due to communication problems. Your productivity per person declines. The productivity of the company as a whole may increase, but your per person productivity declines. And so naturally, you want to fight that and maximize communication.
Do you want to go?
Yeah,
Will you
I'll
go?
go at some point. The reason I'm doing SpaceX is so others can go to space, not so that I can go to space. I used to take a lot more risks with my personal safety when I had fewer obligations. But these days I've got sort of 2 companies to run, 5 kids, and I've made a commitment that I won't take any serious risks until my kids at least graduate high school. I just find the idea of a future where we are not a spacefaring civilization to be incredibly depressing. I think, how sad is that? And how contrary to the American spirit and everything that's made this country great. So it's really something that, that's the future I want to happen.